Coming up next.
There's still one idea that I haven't done yet. They want me to do a bathroom towel scene.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
And every time they bring that up, I'm like either injured or having been to the gym. I'm like, we gotta wait. When the sun's setting and the shadows make my abs look better.
Welcome to the Subject Free Podcast. The unfiltered real estate podcast where 4 agents share real life stories from their careers in the crazy world of real estate. Now welcome Alan, Viv, Matt, and Adam.
This is the neighborhood. This is a 200 square foot apartment in downtown East Side. This is your living room. This is the price. This is your bedroom. This is your fridge. This is your kitchen. And this is your dining room. This is a space for your guests. And this is your walk-in closet. Now this is a bathroom.
Awesome. Well, welcome everybody to the Subject Free Podcast. Yay! We're going to do that every time.
Every single time. That's my shtick.
That's Alan. This is Viv. I'm Adam. And we've got a special guest, Kristin from reAngle. We are brought to you by Legacy Brew Coffee. And we just saw the viral video that went absolutely nuclear.
It went nuts.
It went nuts about a month ago or so. And the architect behind that is Kristin here from reAngle. So we want to get into that first. We want to talk about real estate marketing. That's really what we're going to be here. But we're going to address... I don't want to say the elephant in the room, but we definitely have questions for Kristin because that was a very unique moment, I'm sure, in your career. And we all saw it, and I think we all had our opinions on it. So let's talk about that first because I think that's a great way to start.
And welcome to the show.
Thanks for welcome. Yes, thank you.
I think the first time I actually saw it, I was watching just the news. It was just on, and I was there with my wife and my dogs. And after all of a sudden it came on, I'm like, oh, fuck, babe, that's Kristin.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh my God. And all the comments were coming up. I'm like, oh,
yeah,
poor girl.
Yeah.
But to be honest, it was not poor girl. I think that we gained quite a bit from this video, got a few clients out of it, which was really awesome. And I know it looked bad. I was happy with the way it went, though.
Yeah, you looked great. I mean, it looked like an awesome little tour, right?
Yeah.
So I don't get what the backlash was, but maybe you guys have insight on that.
Well, so let's start at the beginning because I kind of want to get context frame. I have my opinions on it, which maybe not that it's different than yours, but it's definitely I get where the commentary was from this because when I first saw the video, I was like, is this satire or is this a real? But I'm like, well, I know Kristin, so I know this is a real thing, but I knew that I could see it online pick up steam and people retweeting it and getting involved. And I was like, yeah, because even I had my oh, shit, maybe not oh God, that's your living room. Okay, that's not exactly a living room. And I mean, 2K. Okay, that's 2K.
No laundry as well.
What's that?
No laundry.
No laundry as well.
And it went to the point where, politicians picked it up and they were using it against the Liberal government and against, the NDP. And it was...
Well, the crazy part is that they thought Liberals thought we were hired by the Conservatives to make this video.
Oh, no way.
So we had people from the Conservative Party reaching out to us asking for the real file.
Okay.
Really,
did you give it to them?
We did. Yeah, we gave it to them. And so it was very, very interesting to see how this goes. But I think what was unclear is people thought that this was a listing video. I think
that's how I still think.
Yeah. So it was not a listing video. It was, so we're kind of starting this new thing, real places and then real rent. So we want to start showcasing things like that. And I think in hindsight, I should have made that a little bit more clear because we do real estate marketing. People might be like, oh, are you helping
I don't think
to
you need
sell.
to make that clear. 'cause
right?
At the end of the day, you got the traction. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody was talking about it. I mean, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Well, we're clearing it
Clearing it up
now.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's fine.
Yeah.
So you don't have to get into who the client is, but this at the beginning, what were the discussions around marketing this not listing, but this? Was it just a concept that you guys had of like, let's just show different areas?
Yeah, totally. So it was something we came across through our network, and we're like, this is a crazy amount of money for this place, and like, it's an awful neighborhood.
Yeah.
So
Well, awful is a strong
Well,
word.
that I think how it started
yeah.
was this is your neighborhood, and it was
Yeah.
like in an alley in East Hastings, and it was like, oh God, is this a
Yeah.
selling feature?
I had to go home and like scrub my feet so hard
Yeah.
because I really regretted wearing sandals.
I saw.
Yeah.
Ooh, she's gutsy.
I was like scrubbing away. So we just thought like we're always kind of showing luxury homes and things like that, but why not just show like how people actually live
Right.
and what people are paying and what they're getting in a rental market.
Right.
So that was the kind of goal there.
Right. Do people think that it was a listing? Like, do you still, is that the most common misconception? Because I think that's still out there.
Yeah. So people thought I was like a property manager rental
Yeah.
agent or
Yeah.
something.
You know, there could be a series about
Yeah,
that. You know,
yeah.
like selling social housing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, people either like the really luxurious stuff or they like the really shitty stuff.
Totally.
And
yeah.
that's what they watch. That's what they gravitate to. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it was a phenomenon. Like, it just blew up.
Yeah. Crazy.
Can we take it back for a second? I didn't read any of the comments.
Okay.
I saw the video when Adam sent it over, and I was like,
It's because
okay.
Vivian doesn't use a phone.
Yeah.
And then I closed it, so I don't actually know about the backlash that you got. Can you talk a little bit about that?
So yeah, I guess people use the word backlash, but like I said, I was kind of happy with the whole thing. Whether it's a good comment, bad comment, like comment away, like please, like the more I get on this, the better.
Engagement.
Because I was getting more views on my other posts, like real estate posts,
Right.
right? And followers and people reaching out saying, "Hey, can you make some content for us?" So we're
Right.
like, "Yeah, totally, keep commenting, guys." But people were thinking that I'm a realtor, that I'm supporting this,
Yeah.
that it is real,
Right.
which it is.
Yeah.
And that was basically the commentary. People would tell me like, "Go eat like nails, you
Yeah.
bitch," like
Yeah.
blah blah blah.
Whoa.
Like,
Why though?
Yeah.
because they think
Why?
I'm renting this and I'm making money from it somehow.
Or you're a realtor and
Yeah.
you're selling
Yeah,
this
yeah.
opportunity, and it's, you know,
I mean, that goes hand in hand. I mean, I posted a short recently, and it was talking about, you know, the dog that was pooing and peeping in the home.
Yeah.
And so many comments. There were people like, "Oh, you're using this to make money for da-da-da and this
Yeah.
and this." And it's like so many trolls out there just
Yeah.
wanting to say shit.
yeah.
And as soon as you step up to them and let them know they're a troll and like that their mom should be proud of them, they shut up. It's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
It's crazy.
We would comment back like
Yeah.
someone would be like, "This is awful marketing," and we would comment like, "Well, you watched it and you commented, so
Yeah.
is it really awful
Yeah.
marketing?" Like,
exactly,
Yeah,
right?
and that is
So-
your job. You're a marketing agency. You're trying to get eyeballs. You're not
Yeah.
promoting it.
Yeah.
You're just saying this is reality, and you know this is what you're getting for $2,000 in Vancouver.
yeah.
There was no like. Yeah, there was no like promoting it in like this is great. You
Yeah.
just literally were like, this is your shower, this is your living
in a kind
room.
of like sarcastic
In a kind of
Yeah.
sarcastic
Yeah.
tone.
Yeah.
But people like in Vancouver are so sensitive, understandably, about housing and the ability to have housing, which is a obviously hot topic that, you know, you're just a lightning rod
Yeah.
for all this
Yeah.
stuff. You're literally showing it to people and people going, I hate that. And then I hate you because of it.
Totally.
Almost, right?
Yeah, and then there was a journalist, I guess, that was looking at this building prior to I had made this video, and it was actually converted SRO, which I didn't know.
Yeah, it
So
was.
I didn't know that till later, and he was like building up this story. The same guy that we saw on Twitter, Justin,
Justin, yeah.
with CBC.
Yeah.
So he saw this video. He's like, "Oh my god, I've been working on this story. She posted this. This is
Right.
amazing." So he was actually really getting this out there because I think he had like his own kind of tooth or nails in there already.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was interesting, and I also felt like I was on CTV, like CBC, almost on Omni News in Punjabi, like talking about this. Like it was so crazy, and like I realized that journalists, I know they work hard, but they all just copying everybody else's story.
Oh, yeah.
And they don't even fact check. Like they said, I'm a Toronto company, but I'm not a Toronto company. So
Interesting.
yeah.
Where did they get
See,
that
and here's the
from?
thing, though. I think that because, with social media and everything is just at your fingertips, people don't have time to fact check
Yeah.
anymore. It's like
Scroll.
they need something new. As soon as something comes out, they need to comment on it or they're going to
Totally.
be last. to
Yeah.
it, right?
Yeah.
So there's so many things that aren't fact checked anymore. There's so many things that are just so false out there. And that's when, you get all these mentalities and after like the whole trucker convoy thing and all that other things that came up, it's like a lot of misinformation. I'm not saying it's good. I'm not saying it's bad.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of this misinformation that people just are like, oh my God, this happened. Let's go. It's like, oh my goodness. But I think it's technology and how people think and they need things immediately.
Immediately.
Right away.
Yeah. Yeah. Reporters were calling me like nonstop. Like I'm at a listing making like content for realtors and they're just calling me like won't give up. So it's crazy.
You took it down. So what was the idea behind taking it down if this was a great thing for your business?
So I didn't like the way that it was going towards with the company that owned the property.
I see.
I felt like, I kind of work for developers, people that own real estate and they're renting it. And the story started getting taken in a way where they were shitting on this company that owned the property. And I was like, I don't want to be condoning that because there's nothing wrong with them having this place because actually they paid some of the tenants like 20, 30 grand to leave.
Okay.
And that I think is like if you accepted it, take your money and go. Like don't complain about it later. But I didn't like that, maybe my potential clients could say, hey, you ran this company under with your content. I didn't want that.
Right.
So in that way, I took it down.
What was the
Yeah, very
client's
fair.
feeling about this whole thing, this whole phenomenon?
Well, they didn't pay me to do anything.
Right.
So I think
I see.
they were kind of like, how this all...
Yeah, how did this happen?
Yeah.
Now we're kind of
no.
like in the crossfire
Yeah.
of this viral phenomenon that was happening.
So I didn't, it was never my intention to say exactly the building name, address, or who owns it. But this reporter, Justin, was the one
Right.
really digging into everything.
Okay.
So I didn't want to get involved in that.
Right. So it started out as just like, let's just show different neighborhoods and what places are going for
Yeah.
cost-wise.
Yeah.
And ended up because of, it being East Hastings, because of social housing, because of the SROs, because a journalist came in, was literally doing a story at the same time.
Yeah.
And
Fueled the fire.
fueled the fire, and then all of a sudden, as we know with all viral moments, it just gets out of control, and it's something that you never intended it to be.
Yeah. But we filmed already 2 other real people, real rents places, one in the West End and one in Burnaby. So we're going to try to like make this happen.
Are they just as
Controversial?
I think we're going to try to keep it like whatever we get, we'll shoot it.
Yeah.
So we'll pay people like $100 to go to their place. We'll just post something on Craigslist and then we'll just see what we get and actually show what's real.
Yeah.
If it's not as bad, that's fine. If we get one that's really crappy, then that's great. But
And I hope you do.
yeah. So if you guys know any tenants who live in a crappy situation that want to make $100, let me know.
So broader context of this, like, do you, in hindsight, would you do anything differently? I mean, you're doing it again, maybe in a different context there, but like, would you do anything differently the next time if you had to do that?
I think since the way it went the way it did, I don't think I would have done anything differently besides maybe put a disclosure like this is not an advertisement for something for sale.
Right.
Something like then I'm not trying to like hurt this
Screw
developer.
it. You don't need the disclosure.
You think so?
Nah, come on.
But that's maybe like that's in the back of my head.
Like they say, what?
No, I think you
like
should.
PR.
Yeah, I agree.
Like there's
I'm
no
agree with
PR
you.
is bad PR. I mean,
Yeah.
it's giving you business. It's taking you to the next level. I mean, you're gonna
But
maybe
what
you'll
about
have.
the company that it affected?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
that's
didn't
Yeah, but
like
she had
that.
nothing to do with that company, anyways. At the end of the day, there was no tie there for anything. I think you're fine. Like
yeah.
there was never ill intent at the end of the day, right? She never meant to do that, and you didn't work with that company. They weren't a client of yours,
Yeah.
right? So I
They
mean,
want to be a client.
yeah. But regardless if they don't, there's probably 100 people you got off this that do
Yeah.
want to be clients. So I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, somebody goes down in flames. Not your fault, not your intent, but you're winning from it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I would do the same thing.
Cool.
Yeah, but it's tough as somebody that runs a business. You don't want to be known as like promoting
Like a shit disturber?
the shit disturber.
Yeah.
That's like, there's a fine line, especially with clients, right?
Yeah.
Because if Kristin brings trouble where she goes and she is not sensitive to what's going on in the marketplace, their people may not want to use you. Now, I'm sure there will be a lot of people that do because they saw what you do, and we'll get into that next of like, okay, well, let's see what else these guys do. Oh, wow, they do some cool stuff. I should call her next time I have a listing video, which is what happened, right? But it's a real fine line between being a shit disturber and being and promoting your business.
I think with the way social media is and everything, I mean, people have goldfish brain. They forget. If it's not at a excessive, action that you did, right? I mean, if you killed 10 people plus 3 dogs, people are going to remember that.
But you know what's crazy? A few days after this, I posted another one of these, like, this is this in Whistler, like a luxury $15 million house. And people were commenting, like, weren't you the girl that was just promoting an SRO? Like, people did remember.
Yeah,
So,
okay, great, fantastic. Yes, I am the girl.
Yeah.
I'm the person behind the marketing. You watched this twice.
Yeah.
Awesome, thank you.
And now I'm promoting this.
Yeah. I mean,
And it's not even promoting though. Like that's the thing. You're just literally you're a mirror showing what's going on in the market, and people can put their own, especially in East Vancouver, which has obviously its own social problems, but they put their lens on that and go, you are promoting this. Well, that's not promoting. Yeah, it's showing. It's totally different. You didn't say, isn't this an amazing place for two? You weren't really like promoting it in a way of like, oh my gosh, it was like, this is your bedroom, this is your kitchen, this is your bathroom.
Like facts.
It was more factual. We, as knowing you, knew that you were like you're in sales for real estate, so we would have that. But other people may, and because you most of the time you see realtors promoting, you think that you're a realtor promoting something. And that's where, like, again, vitriol comes out, right?
Totally.
So, I mean, and it doesn't take much. I mean, Alan posts a video, he sent me the screenshots the other day, and he's getting people like, how dare you use the term tenant? It's like, it's a tenant.
Yeah, it's like
it's a factual term. Like,
you're dehumanizing, someone's residence by calling it tenanted. I'm like, well, no.
It's called a tenancy agreement. They signed it, right?
And it's like, but it's like, so when you're a realtor and there's a home, people ask, is it tenanted or owner occupied? And this guy was losing it on me, and I'm like, oh my God.
You get canceled so easily.
Oh, I didn't get. I canceled him with my comments.
Yeah, you had great comments.
I had great comments, and then he shut up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
it got to a point, but it's real estate in Vancouver. It's going to be, if you don't walk the line, it's going to hit that nerve for people.
Totally.
And I think at the end of the day, what you did, again, it wasn't anything to be detrimental to something. You weren't burning anybody for this. You weren't slandering this.
No.
You were just showing facts. You were showing video. You were showing what these things actually are, right? And people will run with it in their own minds. They'll do whatever they want to.
Yeah.
Let them. It's more advertisement for you.
Totally. Yeah. Well, people see me on the street and they'll like take a second look at me, and I'm like, oh, famous.
Why do I hate you so much?
You're just paranoid now.
Maybe.
And speaking of advertising for you, I want to pivot the conversation because we can show what you guys do, and both Alan and myself use you for our videos, and real estate marketing is becoming more and more elaborate. Gone are the days of pictures.
Oh, look at that.
And so let's just look at what you've done for us in the past.
Officers are on the scene.
Detective?
I've been briefed on the way here. So what are we looking at?
Male, 34, death approximately 2 hours ago, death by gunshot.
From what I've been told by neighbors, there was a loud argument that started on the generously sized rooftop patio with amazing mountain views. The argument continued into the home onto the 3rd level, where a struggle happened in the fabulous primary bedroom, well equipped with an amazing ensuite bathroom, spa-like, with gorgeous matte black fixtures, hardware, and dual vanities.
That's right, we found a gun holster and bullets in the huge walk-in closet, which is so hard to come by in newly built attached homes.
Any sign of the murder weapon?
Negative. We searched high and low in the 3 other spectacular bedrooms that this home has to offer, but we couldn't find it. We're sending a team to search the area.
Yes, we're already on it, as this home is located steps away from Seymour River, Heritage Park, Kenneth Gordon Maplewood School, shops, restaurants, and all other essentials, making this such an ideal neighborhood for young and growing families.
I can't believe these homes are starting at under $1,000 per square foot by such a reputable, industry-leading developer with 3 floor plans to choose from.
I guess some would say these homes are to die for.
Terrible. So that's kind of an example of the kind of work that you do, which is completely outside of the box. I mean, I know, Alan, you developed the concept, but you guys always seem to be able to just take it to the next level when you do your filming. So maybe in a world of noise and Instagram and everybody's on their phone, and how do you set yourself apart from the average marketing company?
I think it's really important to work with your clients. I think that's often something a lot of marketing companies don't do. Like, I work really closely with Alan. I'll listen to all his crazy ideas and then...
And there's a lot of them now. now that I've been diagnosed with ADHD and I'm on Adderall, it's like I'll message her at like 4 a.m. I'm like, I got a new script.
No, I think it's really important to like work with your clients and listen to them. I think that we're not experts of the home, right? We don't know what's important or what's unique about this property compared to other ones. So if I don't ask my client that question, I can't make their video stand out. A lot of times real estate marketing companies, they'll just come, shoot, go, and pack up their stuff and go, right?
Yeah.
But we need to kind of like dive a little deeper. And then once we know what is unique about this, then we can make the video show that, right? And I think another really important thing is that we also just hate watching boring shit.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
Basically,
So and we also like can't stand the shitty music that people use.
Yeah.
So we really try our best to like just make it enjoyable for ourselves to edit and work on an every single day basis.
Yes.
And I think with even with Jacob, I mean, like his background is in nightclubs and doing that stuff too.
Yeah,
So he gets a good sense of it. I didn't meet him through there, but he told me about that. I'm like, it makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah.
So we took him to the strippers for his birthday. It was awesome.
Of course you did. We're
Yeah.
not surprised anymore,
Yeah.
Alan.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, I've been using Kristin and reAngle for a long time. Love the work. I mean, we challenge each other, I think. Sometimes she'll be like, that's kind of stupid. I'm like, no, you just don't get it.
Yeah.
You don't get the picture that I'm trying to paint.
Yeah.
But like,
It's like,
I
no,
mean,
I don't.
and I bring up a lot, like I'm probably one of your most difficult clients, I would think, right? Yeah, exactly. So I'll be like,
Honor.
you have a lot of like really positive things about you too. So
Oh,
yeah.
It's not all there.
it's not all that. But I mean, at the same time, it's like I get what you guys are doing, and after you get that I have a vision all the time. For anything I do creative, there's always a vision. So
Yeah.
and I love that you work with me to do that. And like, even though you think I'm stupid, or you're like, no one could tell, Alan, you're an idiot. I'm like, I can tell.
But it's fun for us too. Like this new video we have coming out with you.
Oh my God, I
that
can't wait.
is going to be awesome. And Vivian and Adam are also going to, be in there
Be in
too.
it.
But that was so much fun. And just like looking through all the clips after, I'm like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Like it's so great that this is your job on day to day, and you're not sitting at a desk and like just on Excel all day. So I'm really grateful to just like have the opportunity to be creative and try to infuse it into something that's kind of people think is boring, like just a home for sale.
Yeah.
So
And I think, like we talked about in one of our past episodes, is that it's cutting through that noise, right?
Yeah.
You got to be able to stand out now, because I mean, there's 250 million people on social media or something like that. Everyone's creating content, but everyone's creating the same shitty, boring content, right? So what can you do to stand out? And luckily for us, Kristin will be open to our crazy ideas.
And I think what you do well too is you also provide, and your team provides direction, which sometimes we can take it so far, but we don't know what we don't know. And so when you're like, or you'll just do things that are like, why don't we do a drone here? And it's like, great idea. We brought the drone. Or like, why don't we put this music or do this social media post too? And bam, I'll see it on my phone. I'll be like, oh, sweet. Like, boom, repost. Like stuff like that, little bonus, little extras.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, okay, like that's great. And in the past, I've worked with some really good marketers, but it's like they're looking completely at me to be like, okay, now what do you want to do? And I'm like, I need, like, you guys do this all the time. You see what you see what other people do, what the Allens do, what other marketers do. Give me some like, you know what we should do? Why don't we do it this way? And those little touches differentiate yourself versus somebody else.
but sometimes not all realtors want your input. They'll be like,
That's
"I
'cause they're
know what-
idiots."
I know what I'm doing. Like, they don't want your input. And I have like a whole list of ideas of things that I want to do, but I just need people like Alan and yourself to
That are wanting to.
Well,
to
there's
do
still
it.
one idea that I haven't done yet that Vlad and Jacob want me to do. So they want me to do a bathroom towel scene.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
So
like an Old Spice like kind of vibe.
and every time they bring that up, I'm like either injured or
Yeah.
having been at the gym. I'm like, we gotta wait.
Yeah.
We gotta wait for that perfect time
Yeah, that's
when
perfect.
the sun's setting and the shadows make my abs look better. But
Well, you know, AI is also very helpful nowadays. So we can...
that's very true. You want to shoot tomorrow?
Well, let's pivot to that because that's what I kind of wanted to ask you about next. So, where do you see the future going with real estate marketing? Where do you think there's opportunities for realtors? Let's talk a little bit about like AI and the future of real estate.
Totally. I think that real estate marketing is going to almost become like a little mini Hollywood, I think so soon, because the properties are such high value that it's a lot of things at stake,
Yeah.
right? And if you have so many properties on the market for sale, you got to make yours stand out. So at this time, I think there's a lot on the market, right? Like
Yeah, I mean,
not selling,
there-
moving.
not
there's a lot of-
moving.
there's
Not moving,
there's more
right?
than what we've had, but
Yeah.
because of everything that's happening in the market, a lot's
Yeah.
not moving, right?
Yeah.
So,
So how do you make it move? You need people to see it,
Exactly.
right? So I think that people are going to need to invest a little bit more money into real estate marketing and think of ways that, you know, humanize the home. That's something I've been
100%.
talking about with my
100%.
clients is like, how do we make this home a human and make it connect with people's emotions? Because that's how you're going to sell it, right? So I think that people need to kind of open their minds a little bit and
except when Shelley comments.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think like people need to, and realtors, they need to kind of step out of their comfort zones a little bit and try new
and
things.
it's one of those things where you see a lot of those realtors like, welcome to my listing at blah blah blah. They're talking at the beginning, and it's like
It's just
as soon as they start talking, I swipe away.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
like,
exactly what I didn't want to
You
do.
know, but-
so I
Yeah.
don't.
Adam did that in his video. He's like, "Do you want a 2-bedroom under 700
different.
something thousand?" Like, yeah,
that's different. That's
tell me, give
that's
it to me. I
that's
want it.
That's a
you know?
question, right?
Right? Yeah.
That's actually
yeah.
trying to interact with the people, where it's not like, welcome, blah blah blah. My name is blah 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 from blah blah blah. It's like,
Nobody gives a shit.
yeah, exactly.
Well, we did
Yeah.
we did a masterclass yesterday, and Alex McFadden, who's been not on this podcast, but he does a lot of social media stuff, and he talks about hooks, right, and how to hook right at the very beginning, because you're right. You know, hi, this is Adam from Real Broker, and I love to.
Yeah, done.
Done. You're done.
Yeah.
You're
Finished.
It's over.
Swiped.
It's swiped.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, you know, bring in the hook right away, and I think that helps. But it's not natural. Like none of us are. We're not TV personalities. We're not celebrities. Like we do marketing, but it's just not second nature to really be good at this.
That's why I said like a little Hollywood. It needs to be like a little bit more like reality, like more like real kind of content coming out. But it is obviously structured by us.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So do you think with AI, is there an opportunity for, are you seeing something that in the market that people can start using, exploding? I mean, you joke like, oh, well, there's AI for Alan's abs, I guess. You know, is there something?
Which actually don't need AI.
Yeah.
you know,
Which is
actually,
fine.
I've been using AI in my day to day for tenanted properties. Sorry, people don't like the word tenanted apparently.
I guess so.
But AI is really helpful to just wipe the whole room clean. Like it's actually really good.
Okay.
So I'll just go into Photoshop and use AI like generative fill, and the whole room is clean. And then I
Really?
can virtually stage it. So
Oh.
I think like that has been really, really helpful because I think there are a lot of tenanted properties on the market, right?
There's a ton.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a ton. And what people typically do is they use old photos before it was tended. But I mean, that's not going to be a true condition. But I guess when you're wiping everything there,
Yeah.
I mean, that's a better, in my opinion, a better representation because it's current, right?
Yeah. And, like they could even just keep it empty. They don't need to stage it.
Yeah.
Just like an empty room, I think is better than people's garbage everywhere.
And then in terms
What?
of the
People don't like garbage?
Shocking. In terms of the realtor opportunity, like, you know, AI is getting more and more lifelike. on our brokerage chat, somebody took my voice from an Instagram.
That was crazy.
Unbelievable. Took a clip of me and then wrote a script and then put it into our chat as a phone call message. And it was literally me talking like I'm talking right now. But
It was crazy.
It was crazy.
And it sounded like he was leaving the brokerage.
It sounded like I was leaving the brokerage. And honestly, at the beginning, I was like, did I message somebody and not know? Like, because it just showed up.
Eating some bears?
Yeah. Like, was I into, because it's like, what? But so stuff like that. But you can use that, in that purpose. But you can also use it in a way of like, we've well documented, not exactly the most camera ready person that wants to be, doing that. But if Vivian has a voice cue and she wants to do a presentation of a listing, she can just write the script, use her voice, boom, that's out, and then all of a sudden she doesn't have to do all that stuff.
That shit's kind of just scary.
It is.
Honestly,
it's crazy scary.
Well, I think another cool opportunity is you can have different languages come out in your voice.
There you go. That's a great
we
one.
can do this podcast in a different language.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? And if you have, I don't know, some sort of Spanish clients, Asian clients, whatever it might be, you can post WeChat. You go on WeChat, you can post it there with your Asian accent or whatever language. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. I mean, it is scary. I mean, there's always it's tough, and that's where so where do you go for info on this stuff? Is it just something that comes through your social, or how do you keep on top of the next thing?
Yeah, I think I'm sad to say, but I'm pretty religiously on TikTok, and I'm seeing things.
Sad to say, be proud.
Yeah. But then I'll go dive in and try the things for myself. So I'll watch someone's tutorial, then I'll go try it myself, and then learn more about it. And then you're just 3 a.m. and you're like, oh my God, what am I doing here? So no, but I think totally I want to be able to share some of the benefits of AI with our clients as well. Just figuring out how's the best way to use it and not, like you said, show something that's not real.
And
right?
that's at the end of the day, that's market research for you, right? Where I do the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm in strip clubs all the time for market research, right?
Yeah.
I'm joking. But I mean, you're doing market research, so you're just passionate about what you do, right? So, and that's a big thing. I mean, I'm always doing that sort of thing, whether it be learning about, social media. Ask Adam. Every time I'm like, hey, we got to post this, but watch this video first about how to get the algorithm on your side. I'm always sending him that stuff. So I'm obsessed with it to the same point, and you probably are too. That's why you're up till 3 a.m., right?
Yeah.
But that's a benefit to your clients at the end of the day.
I agree, because a lot of marketers that I work with, because I haven't worked with you, it's the same old stuff to the point where I just don't want to do it anymore because there's nothing different about it. You're just spending a bunch of money.
They charge you for every little thing. I also don't like that. They were like, oh, I'm going to change the sky blue in your photo. I'm going to charge you $50. No, it takes you 5 minutes. Just do it. What's the problem? So it's annoying.
Okay, I'll call you.
Yeah. I was like, this sounds like a deal. I think we'll talk afterwards.
I want to do something different.
Yeah, well, that's where I think
we need to get
well.
Viv in the land of today.
Yeah.
That's why I also refused to do it, because I was like, I don't want to be one of those that you just
Viv, let me write some
through.
scripts for you.
Yeah.
I would be very hesitant. I'll let Kristin.
Actually, the scripts might be crazy, but I think the execution is where we come in, right? You can have Alan's script and someone execute it horribly. The CSI thing could have been really bad.
Could have been horrible.
Yeah.
So,
but it went amazingly
very
well, right?
That was a very good one.
Yeah.
But
That was well done.
the probability of it going bad pretty high.
Higher.
Yeah.
And the funny thing with that one too, because you did get, you're always going to get slack. Anytime you go outside of the box, somebody's going to say something. But you got slack of, well, why would anybody buy a crime scene, home, right? And it,
you're missing the point.
You're missing the entire
that's not
point. But it really is going back again to, as Viv's point, cutting through the noise, not being just one of a billion realtors that do the same thing. Why even do it at that point? But
that's the thing.
Yeah.
Right? You spent the money to do the same thing that this guy just did, she just did, everyone else just did, and you're just like, okay, this is very boring.
Yeah.
I have a question. Do your guys' clients, what do they know about all this? Are they kind of just go do your thing, or do they ever have input?
A lot of my clients, they love it. They see it. But then there's those clients who just don't even care. They're like, oh, there's a video? I didn't know that. Oh, you want to watch it? No.
It's a lot
like-
of
Yeah, just sell it. Just
Okay.
sell it,
Go.
right?
And you know what? But that
you're on your own.
if we're being really honest, I think at the end of the day, we're doing these videos not to necessarily sell that property, but to sell the things that we can do that's
Exactly.
different than everybody else.
Exactly.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
kind of paying in and amongst the same fees for most realtor services ish. So what are the things that Alan and I, what are we going to do? And if we can go and say, hey, listen, I got 30,000 views, and views means eyeballs, and eyeballs means people, and people mean buyers. And that means if I can bring you one more person because they saw this online and they told their friend, and that friend went to the open house and wrote an offer, and somebody else wrote an offer, and we got, $10,000, $20,000 more for it. That story, and I have that story, I bet you have that story of like, I got that one more person that made it this. And people can, love or hate us for that because it promotes what we talked about at the beginning, which was like high increase in housing. But that our job is to do the best for our sellers. That's what we're getting paid to do.
100%.
We're not getting paid to be a gatekeeper for the entire real estate community. So,
And I think you have to have a thick skin too at the same time, because I mean, there's these ideas you'll come up with that will fall flat, right? And people will comment or say something. You just got to move on to the next. You know what I mean? Like, just try something. Just do something creative. Because I think at the end of the day, you're still trying to be different, right? And people will respect that, I think.
100%. So on the topic of technology, is there a threat to you guys with more and more technology getting better and better, and maybe taking out the need for videographers, editors, because we can, we're at the point now where the phones are getting so good that they're not, and they're coming out, I think iPhone's coming out with a stabilizer, so you're going to have that in your phone now. Music's available, editing software editors are cheap.
Kristin's like, stabilizer's been around for 10 years.
Well, not in the phone, though.
No, I'm joking.
Yeah. So, like, is there, or do you think that there's always going to be a market for what you guys do because you're always ahead of the game?
Well, I think like people could think that about realtors too, right?
Oh, we talk about it all the time.
So like I think, but people don't take the effort to go sell their home on their own, and people are not going to take the effort to go sit in front of their laptop and edit a video for 3 hours.
Yeah.
So, and to be honest, there was a time where our camera broke and we had no choice but to use our iPhone for a video. The client didn't know.
No kidding.
But they didn't see any difference. And so the technology's been here. You can use it. Go for it. But just people don't. So
But it's the same as like technology with us, and because I go back and forth on this with us in our professions, and I go, oh my gosh, there's a way like AI, and that's coming, and like you can take out so much of the process of buying and selling a home through technology. And then I also look at how freaking difficult it is right now to put a deal together, and how much maneuvering between agents is being done right now that I don't think a software program can replicate.
crash.
And they go, oh, I think we still have a job in it somewhere there.
You know what? In marketing, though, a lot of it is just like we said, it's the concept, right? It's the concept, it's the creativity, it's the human, I guess, aspect of it.
Definitely.
That you still need. Like, yes, you have AI to make your life easier in some aspects, but what I want from, I want your ideas. Can I type that into ChatGPT and get that idea?
And I think trends are
I don't think
changing so quickly nowadays with how in tune and how in touch we are with technology that, an AI program could say, oh, this was popular, we'll do the same thing, but then, the trend changed already, right? That's where the human aspect, like you said, I think comes into play. You're like, no, I know the trend is this, we need to move towards this or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, think about if people were still talking like they did like in the 90s about like, all these hot topics, and AI was like, yes, that's great. Like, hey, we can say whatever we want and the gay community will be okay with it. No, right? So I think that human aspect is there, especially with the ever-changing, landscape of this world.
So who do you follow? And it doesn't have to be locally, obviously, Alan, but who do you follow? Who do you think is like people that are on the cutting edge of marketing in real estate. Can you give us some handles or at least some names that if somebody's listening and go, I like what she says, who does she like? And so we can follow those people.
Vivian Yu Realty.
Yeah.
So you mean like people who do real estate marketing?
People that
Not
know
necessarily.
realtors, people that do, I mean, even if they do feature videos like you did with the first thing that we talked about, who do you think is on the cutting edge of real estate marketing?
Oh, hey.
Yeah. Alan, anybody else that you think, like, are you, hey, we can go global.
Trying to get to him.
Say
his name.
I don't know if
Who
I'm in
else
this
in this room do you
No, I'm constantly learning from people that are doing much more. But that's why I'm curious. Like you're on TikTok, you're following, I'm sure, people that you're getting inspiration from. Is there anybody that you can point to that go, oh, that person seems to always have their game on point?
I think I would actually talk about a production company. It's like
Sure.
One Shot Productions.
Sure.
They're
One
really
Shot.
good.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, they're really, really good. And we watch their videos pretty religiously.
One shot.
Cool.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever seen the Property Brothers-in-Law?
Property brothers
Brother-in-law. Yes.
Oh,
I
is
know
They
that
are
what you're talking
different
so
than properly
funny.
people?
Yeah, so
Oh.
it's the Property Brothers-in-Law. They're joking, but
Yeah.
they're from New Jersey.
Yes.
Their videos are so funny.
Yeah.
Like so funny. And some of the stuff they come up with, it's amazing. And I've seen people rip it off.
Mm.
And they'll do their version of it exactly to the T. And I'm just like, wow, that's lame.
Yeah.
Make up your own stuff. But
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
them, and after I think there's another, this Daniel Plum guy from Australia. He did awesome videos, but then he stopped doing them.
Oh,
and he got
I
really
think you
serious.
shared that with
Yeah,
me.
yeah. I
Yeah.
said, I want to get to like this level. How can we do it?
Mm-hmm.
And
But I felt
just started
kind of
taking
cringy
Adderall.
watching it.
Which one?
The Daniel Plum one.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
some of them were good, some of them were bad, right?
Yeah.
And I think maybe he steered away from that because he became the owner of a brokerage after that. So he had to be like, but
More
he was-
serious.
Yeah.
So he was doing these. He actually did like a crime scene one that I've seen before too, but completely different from ours because it was all like being chauvinistic and like being like cheesy.
Yeah.
But it was like. It was funny when I saw it, but then after I think he had another one about tossers and just calling everyone tossers and all this stuff.
What
And
is
that
a
was
tosser?
it's kind of like saying I think, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong. I
don't know what it is either.
I think you're calling someone like a fucker or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I think you're right.
so.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
That's what they say in Australia. But I mean, he's done a lot of different styles of videos, and some of them are really good, some of them are bad. Just like the Property Brothers-in-Law. There's like really good stuff, then there's really bad stuff. But
Yeah.
you got to test things out to fail.
Totally.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where the industry goes. I mean, and I can't get into it too much, but we partner with a guy that's on this podcast that's developing something that's for real estate that fits into what you were talking about, and and there's a bunch of different Matt. And there's a bunch of different technologies that we've got coming. So it will be interesting to see where it goes. If somebody wants to contact you, how do they contact you? What's your handle? Just give basically your plug.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Everybody's gonna write it down.
I think honestly the easiest way to either get in touch with us is on Instagram, reAngle, because we're always on Instagram, or you can always my number's on there. You can just text me. Yeah. I also hate responding to emails, so just text me.
Just text you.
Yeah.
Well, you are our first guest on this Subject-Free podcast, brought to you by Legacy
Yes.
Brew. So we are very happy to have
Thank
you.
you
And
for
thank
coming
you
by.
very much for sharing your experience on the
Totally.
the first video.
And
real
thank you
estate.
for all the hard work you've done on our videos.
Yeah.
Like I've been using you for how many years now?
Like 3 or 4.
3 or 4 years. And
Yeah.
we've done a lot
Yeah.
of different things, and we've evolved together, which I'm grateful for. And you're always open to my crazy ideas.
Totally.
So I love it. So I will keep using you for a long, long time.
And I can't wait to evolve with you.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Thanks for listening to the Subject Free Podcast. Make sure you subscribe, follow, rate, and review. Until next episode, we hope you're going in subject free.